Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 209. It is Friday, July 26th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
So thanks for joining us on this fabulous Friday. Big show because, some huge news just dropped. T-Mobile and Sprint got approval from the Department of Justice to merge, and Dish will step up to try to be the fourth new big U.S. carrier. So we got to talk about that, of course. There's also just general news to run through, like Pixel 4 stuff, lots of Note 10 stuff, the return of the Galaxy Fold. Maybe the biggest news of all is there's a new NVIDIA Shield TV on the way. We want to laugh at red hydrogen phones for a little bit to talk about the story there. And then, of course, we have trivia. Trivia at the end of the show, as we always do. And for prizes this week, Anker, the fine folks at Anker, are giving away 5 of their Rove Bolt car dongle Google Assistant thing. Like, I don't know, what exactly do you call, like, what's the category of the Rove Bolt?
Well, it's a smart car charger.
I guess it is a smart car charger.
Yeah.
I guess that is the best way to put it. It's a Google Assistant equipped car charger. So if you have a car that doesn't have Android Auto in it, no touchscreen thingies or any of that stuff, but you still want Assistant, the Rove Bolt will do that. You just plug it in to your little lighter socket thing and shout away all the Google Assistant commands.
Yeah, and if you have a newer car and you happen to win this prize, give it to your father or your mother who doesn't have a smart car, and they can benefit from it. It's a great gift. So,
and if you don't feel like shouting Google Assistant stuff, you just use it as a charger because it does that.
Exactly.
Solid little guy. So yeah, we have 5 of those from Anker to give away during trivia. If you're new around here, we do trivia at the end of every show. So hang around if you want. You might have a chance to win one of those fine, fabulous Anker Rove Bolt prizes.
Oh.
All right, cool. Let's go right into the T-Mobile Sprint stuff. So this just came across this morning. So T-Mobile and Sprint, as you guys know, have been trying to merge for a while now. They want to create a new carrier called New T-Mobile, which is just weird. Like, how long are they going to stick with the name New T-Mobile? Hopefully not too long. So that's what they want to create. They think it'll allow them to quickly build out a 5G network that'll be better than everyone else's, create a bunch of jobs, add to the U.S. economy or something like that. I mean, they have some ideas where they think like this will really, really be beneficial. The problem is that it brings us down to 3 carriers: Verizon, AT&T, and then now New T-Mobile. And as many have pointed out over the past year, that brings us more in line with Canada, who has 3 carriers, and Canada's wireless carrier situation is not the best because you only have 3 carriers, less competition, expensive plans, 3-year contracts on phones, more expensive. I mean, it kind of sucks. So I think people think we're going to turn into Canada. So that's kind of where the holdup has been, is down to 3 networks. Not enough competition. So to get approval, what T-Mobile and Sprint have done is, in a way, partnered up with Dish and sold some of their assets, mostly of Sprint's, to Dish so that Dish can become the new 4th carrier. To be honest, I'm not sure how that's going to actually happen because Sprint had already built out like how many millions of customers, 30, 40 millions of customers, and a network across the US, and they couldn't compete. So I don't know how Dish, starting out in 2019, 2020-ish, is going to all of a sudden build out a successful network across the country that can compete with these other now 3 giant ones. So yeah, that's an interesting part of it. So how that'll work is Dish is buying up Spectrum from Sprint. They're also buying all of their prepaid businesses, which amounts to 9.3 million customers. So they'll have some of Sprint Spectrum, all of their prepaid carrier customers, and then Dish has a whole bunch of their own spectrum that they've been buying for years and just not using, as far as I know. And they'll use that spectrum they already own to build out their own 5G network, which they've said they're going to build out by 2023. So that's 4 years from now. So I think it's June 14th, 2023. If Dish has not built out a 5G network that covers 70% of the US population, they have to start making voluntary payments to the US Treasury of up to $2.2 billion. So, and again, those are voluntary contributions, I should say. So the situation is T-Mobile and Sprint just got approval to merge. There are some states fighting it, I believe. I don't know how successful they will be to try to block it, but there are some states that are trying to block this. But the Department of Justice says, no, you guys are cool as long as you do all this stuff with Dish, and Dish is committed to all this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. I wrote up like a recap a year ago that kind of touched on what the whole goal and plan is here. And it's like Sprint has a whole bunch of mid-band spectrum that T-Mobile thinks they can use to build out this massive 5G network in a hurry. And we've seen that a little bit with Sprint already. Like they've deployed 5G in a number of network or cities, and their network's bigger than Verizon and AT&T in those cities. So that is true. And they'll combine with all of their other holdings to create this 5G network. They say they're going to create a bunch of jobs, and they won't have to close too many stores, I don't think, and things like that. And that they won't raise prices, right? What did they say? They won't raise prices for how many years? Was it like 3? Something.
3 years, I think.
I think it was 3. So they're not going to raise any prices for 3 years, but they're also promising lower prices in general. There's a lot of promises that they have to live up to. And I mean, I'm not going to try to predict the future on that, but I mean, oftentimes in these mergers, I don't know that everyone always holds up their end of the bargain. So it's kind of where we're at today. We are very, very close to having a big 3 carrier set up, with Dish saying they will also become one, which I have my doubts on. And I don't know that it'll be excellent for customers, but again, that's me trying to predict the future, which I will try not to do at this time, but have my doubts there as well.
As a T-Mobile customer, I'm really just interested in how this will affect T-Mobile Tuesdays.
Yeah.
With all these plebeian Sprint customers joining our prestigious network, I am concerned that T-Mobile may not have the funds, or the new T-Mobile may not have the funds to give everyone, free pizza or free swag and all that. So that's really my main concern.
Well, yeah, because how many customers do they have? If they merge, like 80 million already, right?
80 million if they combine, and 80 million times one free pizza, that's like $2 trillion.
That's a lot.
So I'm a little nervous about the free stuff. Other than that, I don't think the addition of Sprint's network is going to sort of, change anything, at least in terms of where I live. I think I've tried most carriers in my house, and I think they all suck. So I feel like I need to get one of those network booster things, but what a pain.
I think when it comes to 5G, their network will actually be really good, because they're one of the few that has all of the bands needed to create the ultimate 5G network. So I think you'll be surprised. I know what you're saying, because their network sucks everywhere. Although somebody rated it recently as being really great in Portland, Sprint, and I think you and I just went, no.
It's like, hey, do I even want to try it? Like,
I think 5G, they have all of the necessary stuff and things to create like a really, really good 5G network, but I don't know that I believe that they won't raise prices the minute that 3-year mark is up, where they said we won't raise prices. Like, you cannot tell me they're not going to go, all right, 3 years are up, and we built a really expensive network. Now you're going to all pay for it. You can't tell me that's not exactly what's going to happen. As I think Ben Jacobs said he just said in the chat, there's some evil shiz that's going to happen after that. Only a matter. Yes, I think we all feel that way.
Well, I believe if they invested that much into the network, it's warranted then, just as Verizon has done. If you invest in the network and the network truly is good, then it's worth paying for. I think that's why people stick with Verizon, right? The coverage, the reliability of the network. So if you have Verizon level reliability and network coverage, then you got to pay for that. And that's capitalism, baby. Gotta love it.
And look, if they build the best network and want to charge a premium for the best network, I guess I don't have a huge problem with that. Because like you said, if you want the best, you sometimes have to pay for the best. But they've, kind of dressed everything up, and there's lower prices overall. We aren't going to raise prices, all this stuff. So, I don't trust anyone in the wireless industry. No. So, again, I have my doubts. Brandon in the chat asked, so will Dish only have a 5G network? So what they're going to do is they've agreed to turn their 600 and 700 megahertz spectrum into 5G. So they're going to build 5G with their current spectrum holdings. And then they bought some of Sprint's to do whatever with. I think it's low band stuff from Sprint. And then they've created a licensing deal with new T-Mobile. So their LTE network is going to run on new T-Mobile network. And then when their 5G launches, they're still going to be able to use new T-Mobile network for like 7 years. And then even if they launch their 5G, which they're supposed to in the next 4 years, you're going to be able to go between new T-Mobile network and Dish's 5G, like they're independent. So they're going to be on new T-Mobile for 7 years, possibly another 3 after that, so upwards of 10 as far as I understand it. So yeah, you'll be able to access T-Mobile's network going forward if you become a Dish customer. If you're a current like Sprint prepaid person on Boost or Virgin, and you're going to become a Dish customer, you're going to actually stay on Sprint. Like all the current customers stay on Sprint's old network, and then new customers will all be on the new T-Mobile network just as a Dish customer, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all kind of very confusing, but basically Dish is going to build a 5G network, and they say they're going to do so in 4 years. But they'll use sort of as backfill around that new T-Mobile network. So, yes. Yeah. That's kind of like the basics of it. I've been trying to like put down every little list of detail I can that might be worth talking about. And I think that's kind of mostly it. Dish will basically be an MVNO on new T-Mobile. So it's like, well, I shouldn't say visible. It's like any prepaid network, like Straight Talk, right? They're an MVNO and they use AT&T or Verizon's network. So Dish will be, or like Google Fi, they're an MVNO on top of Sprint, T-Mobile, and US Cellular. So Dish will be an MVNO, basically a prepaid type setup on new T-Mobile's network. And then they'll have their own 5G on top of that once they build that. Dish will have options to lease retail spaces that have basically been shut down or unused from this new T-Mobile merger. So they'll have retail sites, and they're going to acquire 7,500 retail sites. They'll also have access to unused cellular sites as well to help with their network. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, but Dish really is going to try to become the next big network, starting with 9.3 million customers.
So peculiar.
Yeah, unless Dish can bring out the like stupid pricing, like $25 for unlimited data. Like I don't know how they add a bunch of customers. You know what I mean? Like you're a new network, and no one I don't think has any like trust in your brand as a wireless network because you're new. So I don't know how you add customers on top of the 9 million you have unless you do some crazy things with price. So we'll see. We'll see how they do.
Brandon Johnson in the chat says, gotta be honest, always thought you guys were T-Mobile shills because of all the pink.
Oh, actually, no. We were Verizon shills for a really long time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Huge Verizon shills.
The story behind the pink is mostly just because at the time Droid Life was created, every other Android-related blog was like, I have to make my blog look Android green. And I was like, that's dumb. Let's do the opposite and be obnoxiously pink. That's really where the pink came from. Like, that is the reason it's pink. And then it just stuck because
it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were Motorola Droid blog initially only, and then everyone got mad when we started covering the Incredible, and then we just kind of expanded to the whole Droid range for a couple of years. We're only Verizon stuff, and then we started slowly merging and adding on stuff from other carriers, and here we are today. And we like pink, damn it. And Big Bomb Dono Don says pink is cool, so...
Hell yeah.
Anyway, that's a little short story on the pink. So Dish will try to be number 4. We'll have Verizon, AT&T not going anywhere, and new T-Mobile, who already has 80 million customers because they've combined, and that's still short of Verizon, AT&T, by the way, but they're right there. So
nice. I mean, I'm just glad we can stop talking about it. We've been talking about this for over a year, the whole T-Mobile and Sprint merger, and
it's in jeopardy. It's not in jeopardy. It's almost about to be approved. It's not going to be approved.
and then as soon as it's approved, I get this huge list of reactions from conservative leaders for some odd reason.
For some reason.
Conservatives seem very happy
They're
about
very
this
happy.
because we're in a war. It's a race to 5G
Yes.
with China and the rest of the world. So anything that gets us closer to the finish line of 5G is good in the eyes of the GOP. So I'm happy.
Sneed Mobile Tech says new T-Mobile will have 120 mil. Is that true? Does T-Mobile already have 80?
The numbers from Wall Street Journal this morning said that when combined, they would have 80.
Okay.
So, because Verizon and AT&T both only have roughly 100 million. So,
I'm just looking at T-Mobile's press release to see if it actually says, because I don't think they said in theirs. Nope. Does not say. Does not say. So I don't know. We're also talking probably just postpaid cellular customers rather than like, yeah, Sprint has 5482. I have no idea. Merger. I don't know.
so I'm a huge fan of math.
Math is tough when you're live on air.
No, I mean, we were just reporting what the Wall Street Journal had. We assumed their numbers, just Wall Street Journal. Definitely a left-leaning outlet. Had to assume their numbers are accurate. So,
Yeah. Either way, they will be right there with AT&T.
with Verizon
and Verizon.
AT&T. Yeah. I think that's the main importance.
Yep, it is. All right, let's.
They're still only going to be third, though. There's just no way they're going to have more than AT&T because they're still going to be number 3, even with 3 and 4 combining. So I don't know. I don't know where you're getting your numbers.
No, we'll have to look that up just to confirm. Okay. Anyways, let's switch gears out of there and talk about Pixel 4, something that's actually somewhat interesting.
You got it.
So was it this week we got CAD renders of, or it might have been the end of last week. No, this week, of the Pixel 4. So previously, I think on the last show, we talked about CAD renders for the 4 XL. And maybe last time it was just the 4. Now we have the 4. I can't keep track. Either way, OnLeaks is back with more CAD renders based off schematics that he stole from a factory in China or something like that. And I'm just kidding, by the way. Somebody sent stolen schematics to him probably, which he then turned into.
There we go.
He didn't steal anything. Somebody else did. There we go. That's clarified. So the new images are only significant in that they show the two phones side by side. So you can kind of see size comparison. It's still the square camera thing on the back, the forehead up top on the front, little chin on the bottom, very googly. As far as size goes, they're very similar in size to the 3 and 3XL. They are mostly the same width in hand, just taller. And it's probably because of that forehead, which houses a couple of cameras, some new sensors, possibly the Project Soli sensor, where you can do some gestury stuff, which I also believe we talked about in the last show. So those showed up this week, and it gives you probably the cleanest look yet of what these phones will potentially look like, where everything's at. I don't know. We've talked about these quite substantially. They look fine. They don't look like they're pushing any design boundaries. They still look
No.
they still look very googly. There's no notches, which is, a good thing after last year. They just look fine. They look like Google phones. It's kind of all I think there.
Yeah, they look okay. They look kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just black and white little
Yeah.
candy bars, smartphones, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Gary says, I need 2 front-facing speakers. So that's one of the changes this year. We're not going to have front-facing. You'll have a top or a front-facing and then a bottom. And that's how everyone's doing it pretty much at this point. Is there another phone that actually has 2 forward-facing outside of like the Razer Phone 2 or something? Everyone else is doing 1 top forward, 1 bottom, right?
Pretty sure the Red Hydrogen 1 has 2 forward, so don't forget about that.
Yes. How could I forget about that lovely phone? All right. So anyway, that's Pixel 4 news. There's nothing really new there other than that. In Pixel 3a news, though, Pixel 3a still rocking the 3a. I dropped it. Actually, my kid swatted it out of my hand the other day. and it went face down and shattered everywhere.
What did you do to them?
So we were talking to my dad, so his grandpa, right? And he does this thing where like my dad kind of like gives him some shit, right, while we're like on the phone, like just jokes with him, and he doesn't handle the jokes very well as a 5-year-old, and so he thinks it's funny to like slap at the phone. We're doing like a video chat, and just whacked it. And we weren't inside, we were outside. Normally if he does that, it lands on carpet or something or a couch, but nope, it was pavement and it shattered. Anyway, Pixel 3a news. Google reported Q2 earnings yesterday and said that we doubled Pixel shipments or sales shipments, whichever word they use there, 2 times year over year. The only reason that's worth pointing out is because in Q1 they reported lower sales of Pixel phones year over year. So they jumped up in Q2 to 2 times, and we're basically saying that's because the Pixel 3a and 3a XL came out, and people like to buy cheaper phones often. And also, you're just going to get a boost in your numbers whenever you release a new phone anyway, right? So it's not like
they cheated.
Yeah, it's not like a huge moment for Google to be like, our numbers are so amazing. It's like, well, no, you released a new phone, which always boosts the quarterly sales unless you're LG. And then it's cheaper, so people buy cheaper phones. So that's good for Google. Now we'll see if that sustains like next quarter, Q3, before the Pixel 4 shows up. We'll see how them sales hold up. Because we know in Q4 they'll get a boost because the Pixel 4 will be out. It's just how it works, right?
It is how it works.
So good job, Pixel 3. I still like the Pixel 3a.
I've still never even held one. Never seen one in person.
It's a nice little plastic phone. Plastic phone. I actually switched to the Galaxy S10e again this week for a while. I was like, I've used it for a while. Let's pick the S10e back up. I really like it. And then like a day and a half into using it, that thumb button fingerprint power button combo makes me want to, again, punch a wall. It is such an infuriating experience. And I know people disagree with me and they think it's a great setup where your fingerprint reader is in a power button that's at the very top of the phone. It is not.
That's why they don't review phones, because they would have opinions like that. We can't allow that.
Yeah, it is not a good experience. It needs a dedicated power button, and then it could have a separate fingerprint sensor just on the side, like Motorola did with, like, I think the Z3 last year or something like that. That is the correct setup if you're not going to put it in the display or in the back. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of Samsung news, big Galaxy Note 10 talk this week.
Yes.
Well, last night Samsung announced that reservations are open for the Note 10. They didn't call it the Note 10. They haven't actually said Note 10.
We know what it is.
Yes, the next Galaxy you can reserve, even though you supposedly don't know what it is. And by reserve, I just mean put your name in a hat so that they email you the day pre-orders go live, so then you can actually pre-order. It's not like a big deal. That said, they said pre-orders are going live on the 7th. Again, for a phone they have not announced yet. Pre-orders go live on the 7th, which is the day they'll announce the phone. And then if you do get in those pre-orders and you get in this reservation system early, you should have your phone the earliest and be able to order the earliest and all that stuff. And your phone should arrive by August 23rd, which is a Friday, which is exactly when Samsung always releases their phones, like 2.5 weeks from the day they announce it. So August 23rd is looking like retail day for the Galaxy Note 10. What's crazy though is they're doing a $600 off trade-in offer. So for the last 2 years, I think, well, maybe even longer than that, but at least the last couple of phone launches, like the Note 9, I think they did, was it 500 off? I think for the Note 9. And then the S10, they did 550 off. And then for the Note 10, they're now doing 600 off, depending on what you trade in. And as you guys know, Samsung's trade-in program is like 600 off at the time you order, not down the road. They send you a gift card. Like they just take it off and then you send your phone in later. So they'll give you 600 off if you have an S10, S10 Plus, S10e to trade in, or a Note 9. They'll also give you 300 off for an S9, S9 Plus, or Note 8. But for 600 off phones, they'll also give you 600 for a Pixel 3 and a Pixel 3 XL, or some iPhones. The 3 and 3 XL seems kind of no-brainer-ish. I mean, assuming you don't love your Pixel 3 and you want to get into a Note 10, you could buy a Pixel 3 brand new right now for $600. So if you have a used one that you've been using for almost a year, because the phone's almost a year old, I mean, getting $600 for your used Pixel 3 is unheard of. There's no way you're gonna be able to sell a Pixel 3 for $600. So if you have a Pixel 3, you may want to consider that. However, when the Pixel 4 comes, Google usually does a pretty good trade-in deal if you trade in a Pixel, the last Pixel. So maybe hang on to it. It's up to you, but $600 off is quite substantial. Do we have any sort of pricing for the Note 10? We don't really, right? We haven't really heard any rumors around that at all.
$600 off. I think it's got to be expensive. That, the phones that they're giving $600 off for were expensive. So I guess people, deserve a little bit of money back for their purchase. But I mean, this thing's got to be, well, and there's two, right? So my next hot take is going to be how Samsung is watering down the Galaxy Note line, which is just totally pissing me off. As like an old school Note user, was like, that was like the phone.
Yeah.
Now you got a Note 10 and a Note 10 Plus. Not a fan. Not going to happen on my watch, Samsung.
Well, not only that, the Note 10, according to Ev Leaks, who posted a bunch of specs, and I believe WinFuture followed that. Or no, it was WinFuture that had it, but full HD display on the regular Note 10, the Note 10 Plus with the Quad HD. So when you're talking watering down, I agree with that. The Note 10, a full HD and a 6.3 inch display. Get out of here,
That's
Samsung.
unacceptable.
We can't be doing that.
Yep. So the Note needs to represent something, and it represents superiority over all inferior smartphones. So that's my next piece. Probably going to come out next week. Anyway, this phone, it's got to be expensive. But when you factor in that there's that weaker full HD 6.3 option, I guess it's going to be, what, $800? I mean, it's going to range, and the range is going to be massive, because then we're also talking about the 5G one. This thing, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus 5G,
what a name.
Verizon exclusive. Oh, man, that's got to be like a $1,600 phone.
Oh,
so
for sure. $1,600 phone. Yeah, I don't know. Can Samsung price a 1080p displayed phone at $1,000? Like, they can't really do that, right? You can't.
I will find them and I will destroy them. Like, they can't do that.
They can't be doing that. Let's say they do. We think it's starting storage might be 256 and 8 gig RAM possibly. So if they go $1,000 and you do the $600 trade in, you're getting a Note 10 for $400. That's not bad. But we're talking
you're getting the baby one. Like, that's, come on.
Well, so hopefully it's $850 or something. 800, $850, and then you get a Note 10 with a trade
for like $200.
I mean, that's not bad, assuming they don't. Yeah, the full HD. I know, like, we ran a poll on this, and I think we should. I can actually maybe. Well, no, we just ran a question of the day on this, but like we asked people, like, do you care Quad HD or full HD? Because apparently the Note 10 is going to come Quad HD full. I don't care either way. I've been using full HD phones, I think, for the majority of my last couple of years. So I don't really care. The only thing is, as you mentioned with the Note 10, it's supposed to be the everything phone. And not only are they getting rid of the headphone jack, but 1080p display drop from, like, how many Notes in a row have had a Quad HD display? And now you're just going to be like, well, here's like a slightly cheaper one with a lower res screen. Like, that just seems dumb. That's not what the Note is supposed to represent.
No, and they're also reportedly saving the expandable storage for the Plus version as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are they?
Okay.
You're dividing up this fan base, essentially, of Galaxy Note users, these loyal people who've stuck with you through car bombs and all this other stuff. This is it's offensive to say the least. So, and I'm not exaggerating. This is crazy. And I don't know why people aren't more up in arms about there being a Plus and a regular Note 10.
Well, you just need to lead them on that.
I guess I have to.
On that
Follow
charge.
Me. Freedom.
Lead them, Tim.
Yeah.
So we got some specs this week. And yeah, that's where we're getting the full HD versus Quad HD. What else was new in that? Not much. 3,600 milliamp hour battery in the small guy. Big guy, 4,300 milliamp hour. We don't really know if there's a difference between the 5G version, right, and the Plus.
No,
like with
don't.
the S10 Plus and the 5G, like there's differences there in display size and
differences.
battery and an extra camera and all that stuff. So yeah, we don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case with the 5G, but yeah. Like now that you say, like, it's feeling a little watered down, like I kind of am with you. It doesn't feel quite as spectacular. You're going to have to spend the $1,300 on the Plus because the Note 10 is now, I think someone mentioned, like an LG Stylo.
Oh, shade. No, I think the problem is that Samsung realizes that to put everything in it to make the phone, the Note, truly a Note phone, it's expensive as hell. Yeah. It's $1,300 plus or something. And they're like, not everyone can afford that. So maybe we've got to water it down a little bit, give people that less expensive option. And I can appreciate that. But man, I'm a materialistic girl living in a materialistic world and got to have all that good. And taking away my quad, taking away my expandable, taking away whatever else.
Can't be doing it.
Can't be doing that. And yeah, Don mentioned that he wants a flat screen Note. I'm with Don on that. That would be hot.
Yeah. Yes. Flat,
like this whole display.
Screen, team flat screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. But that ain't happening.
No, they're curving everything. They think it's cool still. It's so brutal. Sort of on a related note, Qualcomm announced the Snapdragon 855 Plus this week, which there's conflicting reports over whether or not this will be in the Note 10. I think we assumed, because it was announced like right before the Note 10's coming, and usually the timing of these things is such so that people can announce them in phones. The Asus ROG 2, it was announced this week also, and it does have the 855 Plus. Supposedly the Note 10 does and doesn't. I don't know which side to go with there.
Maybe the Plus has the Plus. Oh, Plus has the Plus.
It'll probably be something stupid like that. Yes.
Yeah. I just got that.
The changes of the 855 Plus versus the 855 are almost nothing. CPU speed bumped from 2.84 gigahertz to 2.96. You probably won't notice that. The GPU was given a 15% boost, so sure, if you're a gaming bro on your phone, that might help a little bit. That's it though. Those are the only two differences. So a tiny boost in just general CPU, and then a GPU boost by 15%. So we would assume maybe the Pixel 4s will have these. Again, that Asus ROG 2 that was just announced will, and then we thought the Note 10, but yeah, again, there's conflicting reports over that. So.
Yeah, y'all gaming bros are really going to notice that huge bump in performance when you're playing Lego Tower. So huge as your elevator goes up and down, up and down. Add me on Lego Tower, by the way.
Tim sort of mentioned the Note 10 Plus 5G going to Verizon. So EvLeaks posted a picture that was basically a promo picture of Note 10 BOGO deal. So Note 10 Plus 5G at Verizon first, I believe it said something along those lines. So they'll have probably an early exclusive on it, but it's a BOGO deal where you get, if you buy the 5G Note 10, you also get a regular Note 10 for free. I'm assuming that means signing up for 16 extra lines and device payment plans for 4 years and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that'll happen.
Mike H in the chat says 855 Plus exists solely so Samsung and Google don't look like morons for including a year-old system on chip. I completely agree. It's like Google and Samsung went to Qualcomm and like, hey man, especially Google, like, hey, we got so much crap for putting in a year-old processor in our old phone and only included 4 gigs of RAM. Can we do something? Maybe you just tweak, some clock speeds, like we used to do with the old kernels back in 2009 and make it sound like we got a new chip here. And Qualcomm's like, yeah, we could do that in like 2 seconds. We'll just call it the 855 Plus. Seriously. There you go. So it's offensive. Again, this is all marketing. This is nonsense, people. These are words, nothing more.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit at the last show where we said Google's timing never looks great because they do at the end of the year. And yes, Qualcomm's processor, they typically do one a year, is at the end of the road for that year. And so they put it in, and then a month or two later, it gets replaced almost by whatever the next one is. And so that was going to happen again this year. But yeah, you're right. They gave them an 855 Plus so they can be like, no, it's really the newest new one until the 865 or whatever comes out. And they kind of did this that year with the 820 and the 821. That was one of those years where Google got the 821. It was basically the same setup there. They didn't do it with the 35 and 45, but well, the 45, I think there was. They just didn't market it. Like the 45 actually had, I think, a slightly newer version, and I don't think that they ever really talked about it much. Like I don't think they announced it like this with the 55 Plus. So yeah, so Google will probably get it, and we hope that the Note 10 does just so.
They're trying to insult your intelligence, is what I'm saying. Come on, people. Wake up, people.
On an unrelated note, Big Bomb Dono Don dropped $20 and did not say anything because that's what Big Bomb Dono Don does when he donates. Just drop the 20. Silent 20 from Big Bomb Dono Don. Not that anything. Assassin. Yeah, not that anything Big Bomb Dono Don does is silent, but
no. That dude creates waves.
Yes, he does.
Thank you, Don.
How's the pup?
How's the dog?
How's the pup, Don?
What dog is that? It's a wiener.
A Chiweenie.
A Chiweenie.
It's a
nice.
Chiweenie. How's the Chiweenie, Don? Update us.
We're dabbing for Don. Dabbing for Don. Classic.
What a beast. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Don.
All right. So in related Samsung news, Galaxy Fold is officially... After like 2 months of speculation over, they've almost fixed it. It probably is. Oh, he says the dog is a monster.
It's a monster. I got rid of the damn thing. It's a monster.
The Chiweenie is a monster. I love it.
Chihuahuas, man, they are monsters.
They can be.
Yes.
So the Galaxy Fold, Samsung actually announced this week that it's ready. They're going to relaunch it in September. They're doing final testing, but that must mean, I don't know. It must not mean something they're worried about it failing because they said it's ready. So they've done some things to fix some of the problems, like the top protective layer, which everyone thought was a screen protector and was peeling off. They're now just going to wrap that thing up and around the bezel underneath it so that people won't be tempted to peel that, which is crazy that they did that way in the beginning, where people could look at that and go, well, I might just want to rip this thing right off. Anyway, so they fixed that. That's great. They are putting top and bottom. I lost my place here. What did they?
They're putting caps.
Yeah, they're putting caps right?
on the top and bottom where where there was that section in the display in the middle where you could like stick things into it.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, so they're putting in caps. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
it ain't.
Are these caps that you can pull out? Are these caps gonna fall out? Like how? I'm curious to see how a cap is going to work, because a cap to me sounds like something you could remove.
Oh, you misheard me. It's a cat. They're using cats, kitty cats, not caps.
Every time you open it,
scratch it every time.
Every time you open it, it meows at you.
It's like, oh crap, probably shouldn't open that.
Yeah.
No, man, this ain't gonna work. T-Mobile got the new one. They're like, we ain't selling this. You all kidding me? No way. Yeah, this is doomed. This is doomed.
Well, so they also put metal layers in it. I don't know. They put metal layers under the Flex. I mean, these are things that you kind of go, wow, why didn't you do this from the beginning? Anyway, they put some metal layers in. They also some sort of reinforcement for the display, and then in the hinge, they reduced the space in there just in general. So they've tightened everything up a little bit. Some metal stuff. They wrap some stuff, and there's caps.
There's cats. This is gonna be a tough sell. However, if they truly fixed it and they start seeding it out to the carriers and the influencers, because tech reviewers don't get this phone. This is an influencer device, and if the influencers are impressed enough and it doesn't break after 3 days of usage, they might sell a few. They might move a few units. But I think in terms of what we expected, where foldables were just going to maybe come in and change the way we use our smartphones and look at folding technology. I just don't know if the Galaxy Fold is gonna do it.
I just want to play with one. So,
and that's what probably pisses me off the most, right? Like, I think, we've seen this thing in person, right? I think I was in San Francisco when they.
Well,
was I?
We were there when they announced it, but they didn't really.
Yeah.
It was
they
in a
just
case
showed
or something.
it. Yeah. We haven't even seen this thing or held it. So.
But as you mentioned, T-Mobile already backed out. They're just done.
Right.
So initially, and when it was announced, T-Mobile and AT&T were going to be the two carriers to sell it. And that was all they had announced. They hadn't really announced an unlocked version as far as I know. It was just those two carriers. And so when you pre-ordered, you had to choose a carrier, AT&T, T-Mobile. So I think we had a pre-order in. It's actually weird now that I think about it. I think our pre-order was obviously with T-Mobile because I don't have AT&T service. And so we had a pre-order in with Samsung, but T-Mobile's backed out now. Like they said, we're not going to sell this. We already have enough cool phones. We don't need this $2,000 failure thing anymore. We don't want to deal with that headache. But I got an email from Samsung after. So they announced this news. And then to anyone that still had a pre-order open, which I kept ours open, they emailed those people. So I got another email that said, hey, we announced it's coming in September. But yeah, I ordered the T-Mobile one. And they didn't say how that's going to change. We're assuming they're going to just have an unlocked version. I mean, the version that is coming to the US that went through the FCC, it supports every US band. Like it'll work on all carriers. They just initially were only trying to keep it to T-Mobile and AT&T. So they'll sell it through AT&T. And then my guess is they just have to sell an unlocked version at this point. You can't do one carrier. No one will. They really won't sell any if they don't do that. So.
Well, don't tell that to Apple, who, they only sold the iPhone through AT&T for a while. So,
I mean, that's breaking news right there. The Galaxy Fold is the new original iPhone.
Is the new OG iPhone? Holy moly.
I mean, this is big. Who knew it was that big of a deal, this foldable phone?
Yeah, I think Nick Fisher, he makes a good point. He says, I'm excited for the tech to mature. Foldables as a concept are awesome. No, I totally agree. And like I wanted the Galaxy Fold to be awesome. Kellen was the one I think back in the day who was always talking smack, and I was like, no man, these things are gonna be dope.
I did.
Yeah. So we have to be patient, right? This stuff takes time. This was bound to happen. We could have told you that something like this would probably happen. So.
Yeah, I was definitely a hater of all things, as I typically am. But as we got closer, because we had that pre-order in when it almost launched, I then got excited because it was just something new to play with. I'm sure that'll happen again once September rolls around, that's only 2 months away, maybe a little less. Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, soon it'll come.
I'm assuming we're going to see it again at the Note 10 event, right? Like don't you think they'll have the cat version there?
No, I don't even think they mention the Galaxy Fold at the cat event, or they don't mention the cat at the Note 10 event.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's coming September. We'll see how that plays out.
Is anyone buying one? Do we have anyone here that is buying?
No one should.
I didn't think so.
Originally, few people should have considered buying one.
Really considered it.
Now, after the thing died and went back to for 4 months worth of adjustments, I really don't think anyone should. I mean, you should wait till there are thorough reviews and people have used it for 4 months. I mean, it's a $2,000 phone. You should not buy that thing. Just wait.
Big Bomb Dono Don says, yes, I will, just for fun. Oh, God, Don. Please be my dad.
Do it, Don.
Dude, get one for your Chewini, too, man. Maybe he'll calm down.
Don't let the Chewini anywhere near that. They will scratch that plastic display. There's cats in there.
Oh, Chewini plus the cat fold.
Thank you, Lucas, for the $1 dono. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right, let's change gears. New NVIDIA Shield TV is on the way. NVIDIA has not said so or acknowledged it, but there was a rumor, not really a rumor, a Google Play console showed there was a new NVIDIA Shield on the way a couple months ago or something. Well, the thing stopped at the FCC this week, and we're pretty excited around these parts because we are lifelong NVIDIA Shield TV owners / users. In fact, the two TVs in my house, one has the old one has the newest one.
Me too.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I don't really know why or how they're going to improve the current experience, but...
New processor.
New processor probably. Hopefully the remotes work better or something is kind of all I hope. Because the remotes are really annoying. So as long as they fix the remotes and put a new processor in there, I'll spend $180 on a new one.
Absolutely. Shield TV is definitely one of the greatest investments I think anyone could already kind of in the Android ecosystem can make. I mean, the UI, just, for navigating Netflix and Hulu and whatever, it's great. And I think Google has shown decent support for the platform. And NVIDIA continues to update the thing. They're always adding new stuff, new services. Plex, if you're into the pirating stuff, they seem to love it. It's a sweet little system. I love Shield TV.
Yeah, Brandon just said, are they still updating? Yeah, they're like the old Shields, like they're still updating them. We're going on 3-4 years now. I believe they're working on Pi, aren't they? Isn't there been some hints around the blogosphere that there are Pi coming?
There might be some Pi in the work.
So yeah, Shield TV is one of the best updated Android devices probably in history at this point.
In history, yeah, absolutely.
It does still get updates regularly. It was also one of the first and only Android TV boxes that had Amazon Prime Video. Like when Google just re-announced their new partnership with Amazon to put Prime Video on Android TV. If you're a Shield owner,
you've had it.
Yeah, you've had it from day one. So like 3 years or whatever, you've had that. It was no big deal. It's obviously a little gaming console if you want it to be. You get access to all their gaming services. It's a sweet little thing. Performance is great. There's controllers for it if you want to get. I mean, it's pretty sweet, and it'll turn your TV into a smart TV.
Yeah, it's a really good product. I don't know. There's not much else you can say. It's unfortunately or I guess fortunately, it's not the Shield tablet, which saw little support from NVIDIA. So it's a good product. If you haven't tried one, I would say don't buy one now.
Yeah,
obviously,
don't buy one now.
If there's a new one on the horizon, which I'm sure is going to be legit. I mean, the only real difference between the old one and the new one is the form factor. It's a lot smaller than the original one. So I would just hold off. I mean, and they're never all that expensive, like sub $200. So, and they're awesome little set-top boxes. And if you got YouTube TV, Netflix, it is the perfect little delivery system for that.
Supports 4K, all that stuff. And HDR, right? It supports 4K and HDR. Like, it has all that stuff.
It's got all of it.
Yeah, if you see a flash sale come up on the old or the current model, sure, maybe dive on that because that means the new one's coming. But otherwise, yeah, just wait for the new one.
Yeah.
All right, Red. Red is back in the news. Our favorite phone to talk about. I mean, the Red phone has already made at least 1 or 2 cameos today. Like, this is how much we love the Red Hydrogen 1 phone.
There he is.
Update me. Yeah.
Update me.
Update me.
I'm stuck on December's security patch. Help.
So, Red is back in the news because Sir Jim Gennard, the man who is famous because of originally Oakley and then Red, who makes cinematic cameras that are really, really expensive. He's back. He took to the h4vuser.net forums, which I still don't know what the hell that means, but that is where all of the Red Hydrogen cult members hang out and praise Sir Jim Gennard. It is a weird place. It is so weird. Anyway, so he jumped over there this week and he wrote up a whole forum post, by the way.
Listen, my followers. Yes. It is not my fault. Yes, mister.
Oh man, yeah. So all these people are pissed because they spent like $1,400 or whatever on this Red Hydrogen phone, and it's garbage. I haven't been following it that closely, but apparently the fingerprint reader just died on everyone's phone, and the parts and the way it's built are so terrible that if you send it in to get it fixed, it'll just die again. Like, I didn't realize it, but there's apparently like multiple hardware problems with this that we weren't able to highlight in our review because we were focused on just how terrible everything else was. So he says, the Hydrogen 1 is garbo, and we're blaming everything on the manufacturer who put it together for us in China. We are taking I'm not quoting this, by the way. This is me paraphrasing. We are not taking any blame for this whatsoever. It is 100% the fault of the original device manufacturer in China who sucks. So what we're going to do now is create a Hydrogen 2, and this Hydrogen 2 will still be made by a partner in China, but we're going to put a team together to design it or something. And then in addition to that, we're making a really, really, really fancy camera mod finally after all this time, which we said we were going to do and didn't. But now we are, and it's designed like by the Red Team or something. And we don't know the price, but we're probably going to charge you $7,000 for it. And then this Hydrogen 2 will be amazing. Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, you got it. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think it's unfortunate that sure, you can, the fault may lie with the actual ODM or the manufacturer, or the people who designed the hardware, but at the end of the day, you said this is good enough, and you sent it out to people, and the reviews were essentially unanimous that the phone was bad.
Yeah.
And we knew that I feel like we knew that not many people were already going to buy it simply because of the price from an unproven manufacturer, at least in the phone space. Don't get me wrong about their cameras, their $30 freaking red weapons or whatever. I'm sure they are the greatest. Anyway, the phone, it was pretty much getting trashed. And I would think at that point, like, what do? Do you just kind of say, oh, well, like it's already out? Or do you recall that and say, no, let's try again? This isn't what Red represents, right? We represent the best. So unfortunately, we didn't hear that from Jim. He blamed everyone but himself and the company, that he tasked with making this device. So it just seems like a lot of finger pointing, no personal responsibility in the matter, which is unfortunate. However, any owner of the original Red Hydrogen 1 is going to be compensated in the form of, I guess, a discount or preferential treatment and pricing for the Red Hydrogen 2.
For the next one. or the camera, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much for your money. We will gladly take more of your money.
Yes.
And we appreciate your business.
Yeah. I mean, just a complete disaster, right? Like we knew this phone was going to be a disaster, and then when it turned out to be as big, I mean, it met expectations. Like the holographic screen, like okay, so a bad phone, and they are accepting zero responsibility for it, and they're gonna make a number 2. I don't know who wants the number 2. I don't know how they will ever turn into an actual phone maker that anyone will care about. But I mean, when you're selling phones at, $1,200-$1,400 a piece, the markup on that is, I can't even imagine how much money. I mean, they were using old parts in this thing when they shipped it. Like if you look at what this thing was, like Snapdragon 835, which was a year old, like the RAM and the display and the camera set, like none of this stuff was like the best of the best. And then they dressed it up in like a fancy plastic thing that looks like it's carbon fiber and whatnot, right? And there might be some metal here and there. I mean, you were buying $1,200 worth of Red branding and about $150 worth of components. So the markup on this thing is nuts. So they probably don't need to sell 10 million of these things, right? But you just kind of go, what's the point? Like, what's the point? They build, as far as I know, all their cameras and stuff, I think are built in the US. Like, and so this thing is not, right? They don't have the equipment and all that to build phones. So that's why they're using manufacturers out of China, which is what a lot of people do. But I guess I just don't really get the point. But it's like a vanity project or something. It's very, very weird.
I think so. I think someone's pride has gotten to them. One of the 7 deadly sins, might I remind everyone. Brandon Johnson. Yeah, well, ego. Brandon Johnson in the chat says, this is the most amazing screen ever, but don't film it. We should have known right from when sort of like that press tour began. As soon as they said, oh yeah, you can show off the back, just don't show off the front. Should have been a date giveaway. Red flags.
They were. I'm pretty sure we called.
I'm pretty sure we knew, but damn, we really should have known how bad it was going to be, I guess. So
yeah. So now there's all these people on the Red H4VNet user H4vnetuser.net, H4vuser.net. God,
Yeah.
I can't even say that. You guys should go to this forum, by the way. It's a hell of a time. Grab a beer on a Friday evening and just hang out over there and read some of the comments from these people. It is something. So all these people have $1,200 phones that are basically no longer getting supported. And the only promise they've been given is that when a new one comes out, they'll probably get a discount and be able to order it first, which is pretty embarrassing. I'm not saying they should like refund everyone for every single one of these phones, but like that's kind of it's probably not enough for what this phone was. I mean, so Tim has one there, and when he wrote up this story about how they're building number 2, you looked back at software support, and when it came out for like 3 months, they did monthly updates. It hasn't seen an update since January, right?
Yeah.
No software updates since it's been 6 months, and it runs basically stock Android. Like they didn't tweak it much.
No, they added a couple of apps.
Yeah.
Like their the H4V video app, but other than that, it's pretty stock.
It's bare bones Android, and yeah, it hasn't had an update since January. So yes, Brandon Fisher says more options though. Yeah, that's right, more options.
Oh, more options in a world with depleting options. Oh God. Yeah, according to labeled as System Update 2, released date January 1st, 2019, and it was the December patch level.
I mean, they were only a month behind, but
yeah, now they're continuing to fall behind. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, further and further behind.
Yeah,
that's sad. Speaking of other sad stories, Razer makes phones. Much better phones than the Red phone, but
okay.
Depressing in a way. So somebody pointed out to us earlier in the week that I believe it was the Razer Phone 2 was getting a minor update or something like a security patch. And so we just casually went looking around the Razer Phone Reddit subreddits, and there was a lot of people complaining about the Razer Phone 1 not having an update in about a year. So we looked into it, and sure enough, Razer. So I guess I should backtrack a little bit further. Around, I think it was in January or February, we wrote up a story that said that Razer had cut most of their mobile division, which they didn't fully confirm to us, but they also didn't really deny either, and said that they weren't going to make a Razer Phone 3 and that they were really cutting back on support for their phones going forward. And at that time, Razer said to us that we will continue to support the Razer Phone 2. They didn't mention the Razer Phone 1. And they weren't joking. The last update the original Razer phone received was like last September, right? And it was at that time, it was September, and it was the July security patch, I believe. So people at Reddit were celebrating the 1-year birthday or anniversary of their last security patch because it was early July. So if you go and look, they were all like, hey guys, happy birthday to our last update, because it had been a year. They were a year behind in security patches on this. How much did this phone cost at launch? $700-800?
$699.
$699. So then we said, look, well, Tim wrote up a piece that said they've abandoned the original Razer phone. They're not going to get it Pi, and it's still on July 2018 security patch. Sure enough, funny enough, I should say, like a day later.
Super coincidence.
Yeah, some guy
not
shows up. Yeah, not at all. Some guy shows up that works for Razer over at the Razer subreddit and says, oh yeah, no, we're going to update that Razer phone to Pi. Don't you worry. It's coming in the coming weeks. I mean, it's not very often that I like to, use the platform that we have to take a little bit of credit for some shit getting done. But if we didn't write up that piece shaming them for their terrible updates, I don't know that the original Razer was ever going to see another update, to be honest.
It kind of looks that way to me. Yeah, because I don't believe in coincidence.
No.
Yeah.
Well, because somebody posted our story and said, like, this is how terrible Razer is. And they responded in that subreddit to, we will release an Android Pie upgrade, which includes Android security updates for the original Razer in the coming weeks.
At least it's getting it. Yeah. And folks, if you own a phone that hasn't even been out for 2 years and it's not getting updates, please let us know about it, because
Yes.
that is news.
Yes.
The Razer Phone 1, the original one, should definitely still be getting updates. It was only released in what, November of 2017, so it's not 2 years old.
No.
The fact that it hadn't even gotten an update since last year is freaking ridiculous. So
Yeah, we're approaching the 1 year. I mean, the July update was the security patch itself was a year old, but the update from September. So we were still though at like 9-10 months that it had not
Right.
seen a single update, which is
yes,
well.
definitely.
And what got us
Unacceptable.
looking was the Razer Phone 2. Like somebody was pointing out that it hasn't really been up. Like it got Pi early in the year, and then it really hasn't had anything since. Like maybe one more security patch. So the Razer Phone 2 also, and similar to Red, running basically stock Android and no updates. So yeah, tough for these new third party or no these new phone manufacturers playing the update game. It's not easy making phones. Not easy making phones.
If you're gonna get into the Android game, that's like the one thing you got to commit to. You got to have the infrastructure and the resources to make sure you can support the devices you sell, or else no one's ever gonna really get behind you. And that's why we're dying for an Essential Phone 2. The one company we're killing
Yeah.
for to make a sequel is the one company I feel like that's not gonna do it. Although we're still holding our breath for Essential to release the second and to make the announcement that Andy Rubin teased us with on Twitter. I think he's a little busy right now, but we're still waiting for the Essential Phone 2 announcement.
Every time Andy Rubin shows up on Twitter and announces,
He gets in trouble again.
Yeah, then the New York Times writes an article about how terrible of a human he is, like clockwork. Yeah,
Why are they trying to keep billionaires down? Come on.
every single time. Because yeah, he's teased that like we talked about how he like responded to a tweet of mine or something, and then everyone was like, "Ooh, here it comes!" And then like the next week, yeah, Andy Rubin had a sex cult. I mean, it was bad.
Damn it, Andy.
Jesus, dude.
Godfather.
As Eddie Daniels recommend or suggests, everyone needs an update center like LG, and then we're good.
Yeah. We'd all be running the December 2018 patch and whatever.
God, LG, unreal. Do you want to talk about? Let's see. We're about an hour live. Do you want to talk about how there are a few choices in the Android world and?
Oh yeah, I could sum this up quickly. So as we're stating, there's all these phones out there, right? Plenty of choice. You've got Razer Phone 2, you've got phones from LG, you've got Red Hydrogen ones, and all this other stuff. These are not legitimate options, people. We need phones from proven manufacturers, and we need our old manufacturers such as LG and HTC. Well, HTC is not around,
they're
but
gone, yeah.
we need companies like LG to continue supporting their devices to ensure that people are getting something, that's worth their money. So really, the way I look at it is we've got three options right now. We've got Samsung, we've got OnePlus, and we've got Google. If you want a phone that will at least be alive for 2 years at least, those seem like your only options. You've got the metal Pixel or glass Pixel. You've got a plastic Pixel, the Galaxy S lineup, Galaxy Note lineup, and the OnePlus 7 Pro. And you can get an older OnePlus 2, the 6T. I want to judge you for that. So while we have lots of phones, I'm just saying that the options seem a little limited in a world, not too many years ago was over the cup overrunneth with options, like with legitimate decent options.
It was great.
Exactly. We had the LGs, we had the HTCs, we had Sonys, we had Huawei's and Honors, and now we've got a fraction of that, and it kind of sucks. And that was the only point I was trying to make. I wasn't trying to piss off our UK readers and our readers over in India and Asia. We love you guys, but we were just focusing on the US market, and the US market is kind of hurting right now in terms of options.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with that at this point, and our readers tend to agree that there are three companies basically to choose phones from, and everyone else kind of. I mean, you might not. You're basically saying like, I maybe don't care about updates as much. I maybe don't care about, I don't know, the best camera. Maybe I care about subpar software, or I want a gimmick over just a solid overall good phone. Hard to say, but yeah, Google, Samsung, and OnePlus. for our audience, that is, those are kind of the three companies people choose. And look, we ran a poll on this, and I know it's not like an official scientific poll, but we did run a poll not that long ago. We ran it in March, and we said, do you own Google, Samsung, or OnePlus phone right now, or do you just own one? Yeah, 95% of our readers said yes. I own a phone from one of those three. And then we added a fourth something else option. So yeah, 5% of people, of our readers anyway, suggested to us that they only give any sort of anything about Google, Samsung, OnePlus phones. It's sad because there was a time where LG was maybe not king, but they had some good years. HTC certainly was king for a couple years.
Motorola. They had phones of the year from us 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they killed it with that Z line and these Moto mods. Not that they're like bad and modularity's bad, but the phones in general, they're not getting updated. They decided against sending out Pi, except to the ones where they can upsell with a $350 Moto mod. Oh, you mother.
Yeah.
You heifers.
Yeah. I need a beep button. Beep.
Yeah, man. It's just... You get me going about these greedy companies. Ooh.
Yeah, so, we've had some people mention what Tim was talking about, like our U.S. audience. So we focus our coverage mostly on what happens in the U.S. Tim and I live in the U.S. We don't get out of the country very often. I am not any sort of authority on what's going down in the German Android cell phone scene or in China or in Korea or in the U.K. So our focus often is on the U.S. So we see people bring up like, well, Huawei's killing it. And I don't know who else would be. I mean, there's companies like Oppo and stuff that are big in other areas. Asus sells phones, I think, somewhere. I'm not really sure. So people have thrown out these other examples. But yeah, in the U.S., we're kind of screwed. We don't have a lot of great options. And it's kind of crappy because Android, that was the whole thing, was there's a bajillion phones and they're all pretty good. They're all very similar. And I think, as you mentioned in your post, the best phones just sort of rose to the top. And now we're Samsung, Google, and OnePlus are kind of those three that we tend to enjoy the most. And clearly our readers do as well. But, I wish somebody would come along. I wish Essential would take another crack at it. I wish Motorola would stop listening to Lenovo and make an actual phone in Chicago like they used to. That used to be good. Things like that. I wish there was change. I wish, HTC, I don't know. I never really loved HTC phones, I don't think. So I don't know that they will ever have a chance to come back. But it'd be nice. And I don't know if Bert's are still here, but he brings up Sony a lot. Sony makes some okay stuff. But they can't ever seem to get it all right. And now they're making weird phones that are really long. And
don't piss off Bert, sir.
I know. And while it's cool that they tried something different with the really long 21:9 phones or whatever, that's kind of a weird thing that a lot of people probably don't want anything to do with. You can't really fit those in a pocket, that sort of stuff. So they're kind of just doing weird stuff. And I'm not saying I want everyone to play it safe, but you kind of have to I always talk about you have to nail the basics. You have to be really, really, really good at the basics. And then after that, play around with crap. But no one seems to really nail it like those three. So
if it's not one thing, it's another. We're crying about not having choice, or we're crying about the Android OS being fragmented and all that. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's definitely another. So
yeah. All right, cool.
Sweet.
Is it that time?
It's trivia time. Let me get my lights going. Oh, well, I stretch it out. I had my first chiropractor's appointment in my entire life this weekend, and
you're all hurting now.
I don't know if it's for me.
You have to go regularly, I do believe. Not that I've ever gone to one, but I know plenty of people that do, and I think you have to go all the time, and then they work out all those kinks.
Sounds terrible.
Jeremy, thanks for stopping by. We're good.
We're good, yo. Again, we've got 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Anker-made Rove Bolt Google Assistant powered car chargers. Sweet little price. These are $50 little car chargers with Google Assistant, man. That's cool.
That's right. Anker, fabulous sponsor. Rove Bolt, Google Assistant. These are new too. I think they announced them at CES maybe, but they just came out a month.
These are not refurbished units. These are new units.
Yeah. So if you want,
I get what you're saying.
if you want Google Assistant if you want Google Assistant in your car, this is one way to do that. This is one way to do that. So if you're new around here, we do trivia at the end of every show. We have 5 questions. We'll put one up at a time on the screen. Tim will read it out. You can read it yourself if you want to, and then you hit that YouTube chat, assuming you're live with us right now, and you just type out that answer as fast as you can. And if you are first, we will call out your name as being first, assuming you're correct also, and then you win. So 5 different people will win a Rove Bolt Google Assistant car charger today, right now. And we'll ship it to you. Someone will ship it to you. Tim has them, I think.
I've got them. So
Tim
they're
will
going
ship
to be
them to
going
you.
out.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. So 144p audio only. Whatever you need to do to get that crispy connection to us, it is time. It is time.
All right, here we go. Question number 1, please.
Question number 1 is up now.
What year did Google introduce Play Music All Access? One of their better inventions.
Mm-hmm.
What year did Google introduce Play Music All Access? See a lot of 2012 guesses.
It might be Nick Fisher.
I'm thinking Nick Fisher with the correct answer of 2013.
2013. Nick Fisher with the first 2013 there. Saw some 12s. It's so funny, right? Because we saw the 12s popping up. You know, the class.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, we saw you, Brandon, with that 12. We saw the 12s popping up. You guys were close.
It was close. It was close.
2013. 2013.
All right. And, you know, I like to play with the 12. It's fun.
Nick Fisher.
Okay. Let's go with question number 2, please.
All right. Question number 2 is up now.
What 2 carriers were originally scheduled to sell the Galaxy Fold? Again, what 2 carriers were originally scheduled to sell the Galaxy Fold? As you know, one of them has dropped out. I'm seeing Eddie Daniels.
Yep, Eddie.
Eddie Daniels with the correct answer of AT&T and T-Mobile.
Yep. Damian Rashad, you were right behind Eddie, but
yep,
on our screen, Eddie was first. And Trevor McGrath, you're wrong, my friend. Verizon, AT&T. Verizon may get it someday. You never know. But
you never know.
They were not one of the original 2. So, yeah, Eddie Daniels. Eddie.
Congratulations, the winner of a sweet Anchor Rove Bolt Google Assistant powered smart card charger. Card dongle thing. Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. This is a toughie. Question number 3, please.
Question number 3 is up now.
I hate this word, processor. What processor powers the Red Hydrogen 1? Again, that word never used to bug me, but all of a sudden, processor. It just doesn't sound right. What processor powers the Red Hydrogen 1? All right.
Trevor McGrath is right, even though he
McGrath.
threw a question mark on the end. Yes, it is the A35.
It's almost Jeopardy style. I'm going to allow it.
What is
Trevor McGrath?
the
What is
A35?
the Snapdragon 835? Very nice, Trevor McGrath.
Brandon Fisher, Corey, you guys were right behind him with A35, but Trevor was first, even though he had the question mark on the end.
Trevor says, I'm not feeling confident today. Hey, man, that's right. You don't have to feel confident to win.
Hey, we'll give it to you. You typed it first and out correctly.
Darn tootin'. Congratulations, Trevor McGrath. Our processor. It sounds like there should be another. Anyway, question number 4, please.
Question number 4 is up now.
Following pre-orders, what's the general availability date of the Galaxy Note 10? Again, following pre-orders, what's the general availability date of the Galaxy Note 10? Oh, boy.
See, Corey, he was quick.
Yep, I'm seeing Corey with the quickness of August 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Just Corey with the blue background avatar.
Just Corey. Yep, and he's got the, awesome. Is that an Apple emoji or whatever?
I don't know what that is.
Is that face emoji?
Yeah, so just straight Corey, no last name, with the blue background in your little avatar thing. August 23rd, that is correct.
Nice.
That is correct.
Nice. Corey, congratulations. Let's go.
Cool.
All right. Last, final question. Again, super difficult question here. Ready when you are.
I'm ready. Question number 5 is up now.
In which month of 2017 was the original Razr phone released? Again, in which month of 2017 was the original Razr phone released?
You actually said this.
I
on
did
air.
say this. Not that.
Oh.
Wait, Jr.
JR something. J. Risuelo?
J. Risuelo? I'm going with Junior. How about Junior Asuelo?
Could be Junior Risuelo. J.
I like
Risuelo.
that. Junior Asuelo. Let us know how you pronounce that. But yes, the correct answer is November of 2017.
Yes.
Either J.R. Risuelo or Junior Asuelo. And they're just saying, yeah, emoji, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's 5 winners. Congrats, y'all.
R.E. Swello.
Risuelo. So
Risuelo.
J. Risuelo.
J. Risuelo.
All right. Good.
Nice.
We did that well. Sweet.
Trevor McGrath says he kind of wants Tech Boner to win just so we have to say their name. Yeah, man. Tech Boner.
Saw Tech Boner hanging out. There you go.
Yeah.
We just said it.
Welcome, Tech Boner.
Tech Boner.
Tech Boner. So J.R. Risuelo. J. Risuelo. All right. I want to make sure I get this spelled right. So what I'm going to do is put my email address in the chat. And winners,
Tech Boner
please.
says thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Tech Boner. So
Someone's knocking at my door.
I'm not afraid to say boner. Winners, please email me. I think a few of you already have my email. So email it on over. We'll get your sweet Anchor made Rove Bolt smart Google Assistant powered car dongles out to you. And yeah, Kellen, I think is freaking out. Maybe someone's at the door or something.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
just knocked and stood there for a second, so you never know.
Creepy.
Yeah. He did walk away. I don't.
And it's not like you live on like a street, where people just walk by.
No, he definitely delivered me a package, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those where you can't tell. Oh yeah, he didn't need a signature. He was just creeping on my. Oh, he was like an Amazon guy taking a picture. That's what took him so long. We're good. We're good.
We're good. It's just creepy Amazon people taking pictures of your house.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Bertzer, are you not live anymore?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Bertzer. Is it Eric Ortiz? It could be Ortiz. I haven't seen him today. He just got here a little late.
Yep. Dongle boner pack. Yep.
Jesus. There's a lot of boner talk there to end the show.
Yeah, y'all too much.
You told everyone to email you. You dropped all that since I wasn't paying attention. Cool.
Yep. I got it. I think we're good to go. I'm just waiting for those emails to start coming in. But other than that, Blazers win the finals in 4 games. Calling it right now. Get your tickets. Get your bets in at Vegas, and we good.
Yeah, where the Blazers going to start 4 centers, I think. Have CJ come off the bench for scoring. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Dude, easy.
See you, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
Thanks again, Big Bomb Dono down for the $20. Thanks, Lucas, for the $1. Appreciate those donos. Again, we'll do another charity. Very cool. Yep. Alan is asking next charity. We will do another one. We were just kind of taking a break. Like we ran 2 months of talking to you guys about a charity, so we want to give everyone a break. My guess is like maybe September we'll start another one. Like like that sort of back to school fall-ish right before the holidays thing. Maybe we'll pick a second one. We're just giving everyone a little break, so we're not constantly asking you guys to
give me your money.
Give over your money.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
that's red over here. We're not just taking money.
I mean, I know it's like to a good cause, but I don't want you guys to have to feel like you have to give money constantly. So we'll do another one, but it'll probably be we'll probably do it September 1st.
Charles with the $10 donation. Charles W. Thank you so much.
That is PC 747, right?
Well, usually he says if it's I only ever pay attention to the comment that says, "Hey, it's PC 747."
I believe
so. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I believe it is. Thank you for the $10. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he says yes. All right, cool. So coming up, not next week is not the Note 10 event. The following week is though
August 7th.
Yes, August 7th. We'll probably try to do a show next week. We'll see about the August 7th week. Like I'm like leaving on vacation or something, of course.
I think you're gone.
I think so. So we'll try to do one maybe next week. Maybe we'll just do one the day of the Note 10 just to like talk about the Note 10. We'll see. Then after that, we're just waiting for Google to drop stable Android Q, and then it's on to Pixel 4 time. So it should get fun here pretty soon.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, on this beautiful Friday. Hopefully you're not melting where you are like, well, the entire world is right now. So stay cool. Stay cool. Be safe. No drinking and driving. We love you all. Have a fabulous weekend.
Bye.